your host, Annalie Reyes.
And your co-host, Javier Vicuna.
And on today's show, we're going to be talking about Father's Day. We're going to learn more about how it started and, kind of understand more of how other countries celebrate it and when they celebrate it, as well as our own thoughts and perspectives on fatherhood. But before we do that, today Annalie's going to share her quote of the week with us.
Yeah, so the quote of the week is, "A father is neither an anchor to hold us back nor a sail to take us there, but a guiding light whose love shows us the way." And it's by an unknown person, but I personally really like this quote because it kind of shows what fatherhood it really is. It's a person who shows you light, gives you advice of life, and just guides you. And I really like that quote because of that reason.
I love that quote. I think it's a good way to look at fatherhood. A lot of people maybe think that fathers are supposed to take you somewhere or stuff, but in reality, I think they're just guiding you to eventually let you have fly on your own wings, right? And kind of discover who you are.
Be able to discover who you are and just support you throughout your entire life. I mean, both father and mothers have very similar roles, but obviously there can be some differences between the two. But great quote.
I love it. And now we're going to be playing a PSA and we'll be right back. Wildfire season is here again. Pacific Gas and Electric will turn off electricity when there is extreme fire danger to reduce the risk of wildfires. Marin residents need to be ready in case of prolonged power outages. First, you can sign up to get notifications about planned power outages. These will tell you when the power outages are likely to happen and how long the power will be out. To receive notifications, text your zip code to 888-777. Second, be sure to have a working flashlight, enough food and water for 3 days, and other necessary items stored in your house and or your car. Third, learn about how to prepare to keep your family safe in case of a wildfire or extended power outage. See emergency preparedness information on the readymarin.org website. Please text your zip code to 888-777 to get on the alert system today.
Welcome back. We hope that you found that PSA useful. It is getting really hot here in Marin County, as many of you probably felt, especially yesterday was really, really hot. But yeah, so stay safe, know how to prep, because we're definitely hitting a lot of heat waves here in Marin County. But just to go back to Father's Day, I wanted to give a little bit of history as to how Father's Day was created. So to start, Father's Day was inspired, by Mother's Day. So Mother's Day did come first. It was celebrated first before Father's Day. And Mother's Day had its origins come from the post-Civil War era here in America for all the hardworking mothers of those who served in the Civil War. And as a campaign to push for Father's Day was not met with the same enthusiasm as Mother's Day, just because fathers don't have the same sentimental appeal as mothers do. At least that's what some historians were saying was why it hadn't come into fruition. But despite this, on July 5th, 1908, West Virginia church sponsored the nation's first celebration of fathers in America. This was a one-time commemoration and wasn't planned to be an annual holiday, but it was a start. Like they were kind of the ones to first kickstart the idea of Father's Day. So the next year, a woman by the name of Sonora Smart Dudd went to local churches, YMCAs, shopkeepers, and government officials to support the idea of an annual Father's Day. She was successful in her efforts, and soon Washington State had its first statewide Father's Day celebration on June 19th, 1910. The holiday slowly spread. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, as far back as 1910, and again, what really I got out of this was that the person who created Father's Day is a lady.
Yeah, that surprised me when you told me that.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because I don't think I feel like a lot of people. I mean, I assumed that it was a male who came up because back in the day, males were the ones putting up all the laws and everything. But it's actually really cool to hear that a lady during this time actually went through the effort. Sonora went through the effort of making this a national holiday. So that's awesome. And in 1972, President Richard Nixon made Father's Day a permanent national holiday. Because ever since that June 19th, 1910 celebration, it slowly started spreading to other states. And then by President Lyndon B. Johnson in 1966, he issued the first proclamation honoring fathers. But it hadn't it hadn't been turned into law till Nixon put it in 1972. But yeah, it's every third Sunday. It's been put down as every third Sunday of June for Father's Day to be celebrated. But yeah, that's kind of how we got here. And now I'll pass it over to Santi, who will talk a little bit more about how Father's Day is celebrated around the world.
Yeah, so Father's Day is similar to the way they celebrate Mother's Day, so cards, buying gift cards. The one thing that I found very different is that not a lot of people sell and buy flowers for Father's Day. It's mostly cards and, different type of gifts. As you know, businesses, when it comes to holidays, that's how they make business. So there's a huge difference between Mother's Day versus Father's Day, which I thought that was so interesting because for Mother's Day, you see it's everywhere, right? And Father's Day is very different. There's not a lot of flowers. There are chocolates, there are cards, but not a lot of flowers.
Yeah.
And then across the world, so first of all, the United Kingdom, and Canada celebrate on the third Sunday of June. Australia and New Zealand on the first day of spring. Brazil, the second Sunday of August. Spain, Portugal, Italy celebrate Father's Day on the feast of Saint Joseph. Okay, and then Sweden, Norway, and Iceland on the second Sunday in November. Germany celebrates this during a Christian holiday, and it's the 40th day after Easter. And then Thailand celebrates Father's Day on December 5th. Russia, February 23rd. El Salvador and Guatemala celebrates on June 17th. Oh. So that was yesterday, if I'm correct?
Yeah.
Yesterday. And then Nicaragua celebrates on June 23rd. Uruguay celebrates on the second Sunday in July. And then the Dominican Republic celebrates on the last Sunday in July. So the reason why I wanted to list all of this is I want to show you show you guys that Father's Day around the world, it's celebrated on different days.
And it's probably celebrated differently too.
And in certain ways. So there are some religious countries that celebrate in a religious way.
Yeah.
And then there are other countries, again, they take the idea of cards and taking dinners and, just honoring and celebrating the fathers that we have in our lives. So that was really interesting. And yeah, there's not so much about Father's Day that I could find. Again, they showed more of the comparisons, which I thought was very interesting because they compared more about Father's Day and Mother's Day and how those two are very different. And fun, interesting fact that I saw was that Mother's Day, if I'm correct, is the second most celebrated holiday in the world. First comes Christmas. Okay.
Oh.
And Father's Day, I'm not sure if I get this right, but Father's Day is the 20th most celebrated holiday.
Yeah.
And the reason behind it was kind of what you mentioned, the way it is, which is something we will be talking more about in the show.
Yeah, we'll talk a little more about how we feel about Father's Day overall, but that's interesting that you found that out.
Yeah.
Because it kind of puts into perspective just how everyone feels about Father's Day for the most part, like around the world. So I'm pretty surprised. I didn't think it was going to be that far.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't remember exactly the details, but I remember I saw that, and they just when I was trying to find out more information on Father's Day across the world, how that works, it was very different from Mother's Day, which in my opinion, we should celebrate both equally, because they're both very important. But now I'm going to pass it on to Annalie, who's going to talk us about how it's celebrated during this year and how it was celebrated
during the pandemic.
The pandemic.
Yes. So I do want to reflect on this past year and how we celebrate Father's Day now. For us, the lockdown had begun in March during June, where we're in this stay-at-home order. We were not able to go to restaurants, visit family outside of the household. Some fathers were not able to see face-to-face their sons and daughters. They could only see them through FaceTime or hear them by a call. And there was a lot of limitation to celebrating fatherhood. And people who did had contact with their father were like living in that household, in the same household, so they were able to celebrate with them. And ultimately, I just want to reflect upon these events and show that we have come a long way through this pandemic. We were able to grow character and perseverance just by being here and staying safe and alive. I'm very proud of you guys and encouraged to keep going. Life can get better. As we see in the recent news, California is reopening and there's less restriction. According to covid19.ca.gov, there will be no requirement of physical distancing, capacity limits on business, and county tier system. Those who are vaccinated do not have to wear a mask in everyday places. If you're going to mega event, you should follow their rules for the safety of others. And then there's also more information of do's and don'ts on this website, so you guys can see more information about it. And it's on covid19.ca.gov/safely-reopening/dot. And that being said, we hope you guys do enjoy celebrating Father's Day by enjoying nature and time with family and friends, but also remembering to be safe and have fun with your fatherhood figure or biological father.
Yeah, and just to delve a little bit more into that, I know it kind of has to do with Father's Day, but just going off of what you said about the vaccines and no more mask wearing, it's very interesting so far how that's going, especially here in Marin County, just because every time I've walked into a Target or a grocery store, I still keep my mask on even if I'm vaccinated, but it's interesting to see half people not wearing masks and then half people wearing masks, right? It's like a 50-50 split from what I've seen, and I visited quite a few Targets, and it's just a transitional period right now. And if you want to spend time with your dad outside, or you can probably do a lot more compared to when we were giving advice for Mother's Day, because Mother's Day we were still kind of under the same restriction guidelines. But now with people getting more vaccinated, and if your whole family's vaccinated, then yeah, you're chilling for doing a lot of things that obviously weren't available to you last year. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that people can do to celebrate, and it's just a good way to reflect that we have come a long way,
From everything, yeah.
Yeah. That being said, we will be playing this song by Incense and Cologne called Beautiful Lies, and we'll be right back.
I can't possibly, I can't freak, keep it 100, that's all for me. You poppin' ain't thanks for me, what you want from me? But if it wasn't for you, how would I show you I'm out? I come from California, California. I mean, I come through shining like a star in the sky, man. How you ever been to South Dakota with a beautiful sight, man? All the seasons through my time. Oh, don't tell me lies through those beautiful eyes. How can you tell those lies behind those beautiful eyes? Yeah, a beautiful picture.
Welcome back. We hope you liked the song by Incense and Cologne called Beautiful Lies. Next, we'll be discussing what we do to celebrate fatherhood, any last-minute gift ideas, and what we think the meaning of Father Day is. I personally say Happy Father's Day to any father figure who helps guide me and give me advice about life. I also enjoy saying Happy Father's Day to my coworkers to recognize their hard work as a father, and I really see them smile. Like, even with a mask, I see them smile when I say hi to them or anything like that. So just be nice to your coworkers, appreciate them. And any last-minute gift ideas can be perfume, a sincere card, or a plant or vegetable to plant if they like gardening. I know Sandy has mentioned that most fathers don't get flowers, but I think like plants or something to plant for gardening can be something that they would appreciate if they do like to garden.
Well, what's interesting about what you just said there, actually, is how I feel it's more, well, people feel like it's more appropriate for their daughter. Like, let's say you have a daughter, right? The daughter gives the dad flowers. That feels a little more, quote unquote, normal than if the son were to give the father flowers. Because I remember I've met a few families. I mean, I'm speaking from a Latino side, and it seems like you guys are, too, but like I just want to mention that I've gone to Father's Day parties before where we get all the fathers from like our family friends, and usually it's the daughters who give the flowers to the dads, and then the guys, the sons, they give them like some tools or something like that, but never flowers. I've never seen that happen.
Well, Dad, you're getting flowers.
But I'm just saying, like, I mean, I've given my dad flowers, and
I've never given my dad flowers.
I think it's a good way. It's very obviously it's a little. It seems a little strange just
but
because
I think it's fine.
But I think it's okay.
Yeah, it's flowers.
I mean, it's just flowers and its appreciation.
Yeah,
for your
flowers
dad.
are plants, so.
Yeah.
So it's.
But I like your idea of a plant. My brother doesn't like to give flowers because he says they die. He says, what's the point? They die. So he's always like, if I give them a plant, it lasts long. And so I like that idea of a plant. I'm nothing against with flowers, but that was just something that...
No, the plant's a good idea,
yeah,
too.
It's a
Especially
good
if
idea.
Dad's into gardening, yeah.
Yeah. And then we did discuss how, like, Father's Day is, like, the 20th celebrated. And it kind of relates with what I wanted to mention, that I think fatherhood is being more recognized right now than past history.
Sure.
So, like, throughout the mid-late 1700s, there was the Republican motherhood, and I did learn this in history when I was in high school. And it meant that women were expected to teach the young men to become good American citizens and follow the concept of republicanism, which followed the end of the American Revolution. And I feel like this is where children has spent more time with with their mother. So, like, I feel like it kind of gives that reason why there's more celebration towards women, because like kids are usually more connected with their mother, because like mothers like take care of their children. But we have seen a change through that. So like during this time, the patriarchy system was established, going back to the history, and fathers were working and participating in politics and business while mothers were educating their children. And now we see a shift where fathers enjoy being a stay-at-home dad who takes care of the children, cleans and cooks the house. And we see that the patriarchy system is disintegrated, and we see people doing what makes them happy and what works for them financially. And this is where I see the change, where there's more appreciation with fathers, because there's more time connection with the children and the fathers. And I see that hopefully there's going to be a rise of more celebration for Father's Day.
Yeah, because there are a lot of, I see all the time, outside a lot of dads, like, pushing the kids along, or the babies. It's not just the mom doing it all the time. And I just see it become more common over time, which I think is great. If you're a dad who can do everything basically and not just rely on your significant other to do all the work for taking care of the baby, then or your your son, your daughter, it goes a long way. And that's kind of what I strive to be if I ever become a father, is I want to be able to help out my significant other in any way that I can by serving them and not letting them have all the work, because I feel like a lot of that, again, goes into some like roles, like some gender roles that are a little common, that are a bit more common in our community, in our Latino community, where the ladies are always, the moms are always, like you said, even in American history, they were shown to teach the kids and be there with them the whole time while the dads go and work. But sometimes it's the other way around now, where the dads who stay at home and the moms go work now.
Yeah,
you know?
I've seen where women, like, if they're a nurse, they earn more than their significant other, and so I've seen that the man stays home because she can, like, pay for the rent while he helps out with the kids and cleaning and cooking. So I think it just goes both ways. It goes with whatever they're happy with, and that's
Whatever the
just,
circumstances are.
Yeah.
But-
I experienced that actually with my mom and dad. There was times where my dad didn't have work and he was a stay-at-home dad, and I have very good memory of my dad fixing my hair and teaching me how to do my ponytail and stuff. So I remember that.
I've seen TikToks where, like, the dad has been using the vacuum.
They have
to
creative ways. It's so different. I really appreciate that, and I sometimes bring it up to my dad, and I was like, I remember when you used to make us breakfast and take us to school and used to change me, and I remember when I'd cry and argue because I didn't want to get up and my mom wasn't there. So I totally understand that now, the flipped how it is. So
But usually for Father's Day, I help my mom cook my dad's like favorite meal, which is enchiladas, so enchiladas verdes.
yummy.
Yeah. Afterwards, we give him gifts such as we've given him perfumes, we've given him watches, sometimes a new speaker or a musical instrument because he's really into music. It just kind of comes down to what your father's hobbies are. Is a good way to find out.
Very true.
Like, if your father's in construction, maybe some new tools, or maybe if he's into gardening, a plant, like Annalise said. I think it's really nice to give your dad a gift, especially something regarding where he works, Like if he works in a field where, like I said, construction or gardening or landscaping, like anything that can help him, like, advance his job, I think is great too. And can make a really sweet gift because you appreciate him and his hard work. But as for how I feel about Father's Day overall, it's kind of interesting for me because a lot of the guys my age, a few of my friends who are my age, have become fathers. I'm about to be 22, and I'm 21 right now, but I know a lot of fathers who are in their 20s, early 20s, and I respect them. I give them all nothing but respect, and it's just kind of interesting witnessing how this Father's Day is going to play out for them. Because I remember just talking to them like, oh, so how does it feel to, like, finally celebrate Father's Day for you? And they're just like, it feels weird, because they're used to celebrating Father's Day for their own dad, but now that they're become new fathers, it feels really special. I feel like it feels more special the first time for Father's Day because it really signifies, like, well, you're a dad, and you're going to be part of this child's life, and you're going to be there for them, and it really puts kind of their lives into perspective as to how they're going to take care of the family, how much appreciation and love their family has for them. It's cool to see, because again, I respect all fathers. I don't judge at all. Whenever you become a father, I know it's sometimes a choice and sometimes not, and sometimes it just happens, but it's fine. And as long as you stay there, being a good father is always being there for your son or your daughter. Always, always being there.
Very true.
And never leaving, because that is what a coward does. Okay? If you leave the family, you're an absolute coward. I just have to say that. I'm sorry if that's a little
No, I
more,
think-
but I
think
have to be
there's a
be
huge-
blunt about it because I have a lot of friends who don't have dads, as in they left the family because they didn't want to take care of
happens.
them.
A lot of people have that.
And it happens, and I've seen how that's affected them mentally, and it's not good. So, like I said before, I respect all the fathers who have stuck with their families throughout their child's entire life because I think that's very important. Like, actually, no, I think it's absolutely necessary to being a good father. But yeah, that's
Thank
kind
you
of my
both for
perspective.
sharing.
Yeah.
I think that everything that you guys shared about how important it is to, honor our fathers, it's very important. Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. And we talk about how fatherhood, what it means to me. I've seen, well, to me, I try my best to honor and respect and give love to my dad as much as I can, because I'm very blessed to have my dad. Like you mentioned, Javier, there are so many people who, unfortunately, due to certain things, they don't grow up with their dad. They don't even see their dad.
And it could also be because they passed away too.
Yeah,
and
so there's so many
it's
circumstances.
absolutely a different situation.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And like for me, I feel very blessed that I get to have my dad. And like you mentioned, my dad didn't grow up with his grandpa, with my grandpa, with his dad, and because he came to the U.S. to give his kids a better future. And so he never grew up, like, he had a communication with his dad, but he never, grew up with him, got a close connection. So one of the biggest promises my dad did when my mom and they got married was, I want to be there for my kids. So just a reminder to everyone that if you have the opportunity and you have a dad, appreciate them and give them love and respect. And if your father, leaves or goes away with a certain, it's really hard, but know that sometimes, having a father is not necessarily your biological father. You can have someone who represents fatherhood in many ways. And today I also saw that there are a lot of, sometimes there are families that are divorced, so you can have two dads, right? So you can have...
Oh, that's also the other thing. I respect stepdads too.
There's there's a huge...
Oh, that's... Yeah.
Fatherhood. And then
totally forgot about that.
There's the other part that I wanted to see, that they're bringing it up more in today's society, and it's having two dads, as well as having your mom be your dad, right? Well, it's like you said, whether your dad passed away, whether your dad left and you don't know nothing about him, but your mother takes the role of being a father,
right?
So that's very important. So,
and also recognizing like gay couples, so if two guys end up adopting someone. I know there's different ways for them to actually get a child, because I think they can deliver their sperm somewhere so that they can get like
I understand what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And I've met gay couples, and I've met I have a few friends actually who have same-sex parents. And again, they're still part of Father's Day.
Yeah,
it's like a double celebration at that point.
There's a whole different change in fatherhood. Yeah. And like I said before, back in the day, actually you said it, that back in the day it was more of the dad going out to provide and protect for their family. And the mom was the stay at home, doing the cleaning, the cooking, the teaching and educating their kids. Yeah. So same thing now it's like more balanced. And with me, how I celebrate Father's Day with my family is we usually we go out for dinner, or we make, like Javier said, make a meal for my dad. And we normally do cards for my dad, and kind of ever since we were kids, like I said, we do little projects growing up, and my dad still has them around the house. So it's really sweet to see.
That's nice.
And I'm for my dad who's watching, Dad, I love you so much. Thank you for being the man that you are. You inspire me and teach me so many things, and I feel very blessed. I have such a close relationship with my dad because, like I said, I'm the first daughter and the first child, so I'm very, very close to my dad. So to all the fathers out there, and to your father figure, remember, like I said, it doesn't have to be your biological father. It can be someone who you're very close to and that can have that representation of a father. We honor you and we celebrate you today and every day, because what you do, you building a relationship with us, does help us to be better people, and finding who we are and having you by our side is uncomparable to anything, to be very honest. The love of a father is unique and it's very appreciated. Do you guys have any last words before we end the show?
Happy Father's Day to the biological fathers and father figures, and we hope you guys have a good one.
Yeah, happy Father's Day to all, and happy Father's Day to any new fathers.
Yes, that's also very true.
Yeah, I have a teacher who's a new father, so it's really
always
exciting.
Really exciting.
Yeah, and again, celebration to all of you, and we'll see you guys next week. Tune in and send you all lots of love, and remember that you are one of a kind and you mean something in this world. So thank you so much. We'll see you next time.